there's still a lot as well in the voices in the news. We have Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State vowing to punish officials who diverted workers' Salah gifts. Governor Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State has vowed to punish government officials who tampered with the Salah gift approved for the workers. The governor had approved 30,000 naira as a Salah gift for each worker under the state and local government employee, including teachers. But some of these individuals did not get the monies. So he's saying that he will punish officials who diverted workers' Salah gifts. Well, this is a huge talk, but you have to walk the talk. That's where we're at the moment, especially with politicians. We need you to walk the talk. You say you're going to punish, then let's see you punish them. Let's not just see you make statements that you will punish them. It's easy to talk. I mean, if wishes were horses, you get it, right? So let's try as much as we can to have politicians who actually do what they say they'll do. It's not a situation of don't do as I do, don't do as I say, do as I say, rather, don't do as I do. So let's see you walk the talk, right? So still in the news, we are seeing an individual yesterday who posted a suicide note from an unidentified Nigerian man who climbed a mast on Katampe Hills in Abuja yesterday to declare his willingness to sacrifice his life to solve the problems facing Nigeria. He left the note at the base of the mast. His demands include restoration of fuel subsidy. He calls on the government to reinstate the fuel subsidy to alleviate economic burdens on Nigerians. There's also a state of emergency on insecurity. That's immediate action is demanded in Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Niger, and Borno to combat terrorism and restore peace. He also talked about an open border for food importation to tackle the food shortage crisis. He urges the government to open borders for food imports. He's also talking about addressing out-of-school children. He highlights the urgent need for solutions to the growing number of out-of-school children. He's also pleading for fellow Nigerians to join his cause, emphasizing his readiness to sacrifice his life for these critical issues. He was persuaded eventually to come down from the mast, which he eventually did, and was taken to the FCT Emergency Management Department office, where the police reportedly took custody of it. So that's one particular story that will be following. I mean, looking at the situation in the country, you have to understand some of these agitations here and there, these protests. At least he did something. That's what a lot of people are saying on the comment. I think I'm going to just check that in a moment. This one says, in a civil country, is he supposed to be under the police care? This one says, he's brave and courageous. I don't see why he was arrested. Imagine just 500,000 Nigerians attempting that same strategy at different locations. Really, really interesting. We'll watch and see how that plays out. Meanwhile, the president has announced measures to overcome high food prices. We're seeing the federal government suspending food imports duty and partnering states on farming. The federal government yesterday announced a 150-day duty-free import window for food commodities as it stepped up efforts to tackle rising inflation, which had impoverished many Nigerians. The government also expressed its decision to collaborate with states to expand land cultivation across the country. Consequently, the government suspended duties, tariffs, and taxes for the importation of certain food commodities through land and sea borders, among other things. The latest directive is expected to reduce demand for forex by food importers. In 2023, Nigerians spent about $2.13 billion to import food items from foreign countries. So the quarterly statistics of the CBN has shown that the country exported large amounts of food from foreign countries, despite being touted as the food basket of Africa. The high food import bill is a concern for the government and the country. It has a large agricultural sector, and there have been efforts to boost local production to reduce the dependence on food imports. However, factors looking at inadequate infrastructure, insecurity, climate change, and all that have hindered the progress in that sector. This is according to the statement by the federal government. So, when you look at some of these conversations, you begin to wonder the entire measures, all the different steps that the federal government will be taking to ensure that there's a clampdown on the high food prices. They include 150-day duty-free import window for food commodities. You're looking at suspension of duties, tariffs, and taxes for the importation of certain food items like maize, husked brown rice. You have wheat and cowpeas as well. These are staple food items that we use in different forms, right? In different forms, we use them in different forms. We also have, under this arrangement, imported food commodities will be subjected to a recommended retail price. We'll see what this retail price actually will be eventually. Looking at also some of the measures announced by the federal government. They talked about importation by private sector. The federal government will import about 250,000 metric tons of wheat and 250,000 metric tons of maize. The imported food commodities in their semi-processed state will target supplies to the small-scale processors and millers across the country. You also have another measure where it is to engage relevant stakeholders to set a guaranteed minimum price, GMP, and mop up surplus assorted food commodities to restock the national strategic food reserve. We'll be looking at this with Rufai Oseni. I'd like to hear what he has to say about this. There's also a continuous ramp-up production for the 2024-2025 farming cycle. How are you doing all of this without addressing the issue that is on ground, which is security? Especially in the agricultural sector, security is a major issue. It's like we are intentionally ignoring the problem that we all know is the issue in the agricultural sector, and just looking for other, running around. Some people have said we're running around like headless chickens looking for the solution to the problem when it's right in front of us, right under our noses, right? Security is what we have said is a problem. Looking at a lot of situations across the country, a lot of cases here and there, looking at where farmers have been attacked in their homes, cows have eaten some of the produce of the farmers. We've seen bandits attacking farmers and asking for a levy to be paid to them. We've seen different situations cut across different parts of the country, from the north to the south to the east to the west. So when you have some of these efforts by the federal government to help in the reduction of food prices, how are you ignoring the main problem, right? There's something called the Renewed Hope National Livestock Transformation Implementation Committee that will be inaugurated on Tuesday. Nothing like Nigerians and committees. Some people have said if you want a plan to fail, just set up a committee headed by the federal government, right? We're waiting to see what this committee will do, but according to the federal government, it says they will be inaugurated on Tuesday today with a view to developing and implementing policies that prioritize livestock development and ensure alignment with the National Livestock Transformation Plan. This is over 1 year in office, and we are just setting up a committee. Did this problem of high food prices, did it just start today? Did it just start yesterday? Did it just start this year? Right? We're seeing still, as part of the measures of the federal government, enhancement of nutrition security through the promotion of production of fortified food commodities, offer necessary support to scale up the home garden initiative by the Office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Talking about this home home garden initiative of the First Lady. There was an audio I was supposed to play where she was talking about her garden and what it is that she grows in that particular garden. I'm going to check for that so I can play that in our voices in the news. Let's take a listen.
I'm trying to be, because we need food in Nigeria. I'm trying to be, and then everybody should try to grow something. So I didn't know what I can add to the State House, and I thought, a private vegetable garden would be nice, and that has very good health benefits. When you look at the first one we have okra. Okra is very, very good for the digestive tract, and also helps cholesterol, I guess so. But the other one is ewedu. Ewedu is very medicinal. We know that. I remember children that have measles, when they take ewedu, it helps them. It helps them a lot. And maybe the doctors will find. We have water leaf. Water leaf is also beneficial, especially for ulcer patients. So it's very good. And here we have green vegetable, just the green A4 vegetable. So, and then I'm not a fan, but plant, don't be angry, but I'm a fan because I'll eat you. I'll eat you as well. I have lemongrass and also bitter leaf. So all these are just things that have good health benefits. So for me, this is my own contribution to the food drive. So, and I believe that everybody can do it. And my, young friends are here to see us at least unveil this so that they too can be challenged. And I'm appealing to Nigerians. You don't want me to win the 25 million. So get to work and, grow something in your house. I'm trying to be, because we need food in Nigeria. I'm trying to be, and then everybody should try to grow something. So I didn't know what I can add to the State House. And I thought, a private vegetable garden would be nice, and that has very good health benefits. When you look at the first one we have okra. Okra is very, very good for the digestive tract, and also helps.
All right, she talked about a couple of vegetables and herbs that will be good for your body as a human being, right? She talked about ewedu, okra, lemongrass, and a couple of other things like that. Well, the point is, yes, we understand these are important for our public consumption. This is a private thing, right? If every single person in their homes should go ahead and plant something small, in one corner, but is it everyone that has a space to plant something? Is it every single person? And then do people who have the space have the security to protect themselves? The people who have the space, do they have the amount of money to get some of these food items? There's so many things to look at, but the point is, if you do have the space, then you should be planting something in your home. I do have a small farm at the back of my house, a very, very small farm that feeds our family. We have banana, we have plantain, and all that. So if you do have the space, then you should be planting something, especially looking at the prices of things. I don't know, at some point, banana, a very small size, was about 2,000 naira, and I was like, what is this? If I had a harvest in my farm at the house, then definitely I would not be buying 2,000 naira worth of plantain that is looking like 500 naira size of plantain. So the point is, yes, it is important to get yourself a garden, especially looking at these times. Looking at some of the voices in the news as well, we have a River State. The Gbasgbos in that state is just getting way too much. Looking at this situation, we have the Amewole-led State Assembly giving a Fubara 7-day ultimatum. Let's take a listen.
In his duty, in his oath of office, to present the appropriation bill to the River State House of Assembly, he has failed to do so up till this date. The Constitution in Section 121 mandates the governor to present the appropriation bill to the House of Assembly. In section 122, the Constitution gives a window for the governor to spend in the event that there is no appropriation law, but limits that window to 6 months. Honorable members, the 6 months window allowed to the governor has since elapsed on the 30th day of June. As we speak, there is no window for the governor to spend taxpayers' money or any fund from the consolidated revenue. This regards to provisions of the 1999 Constitution as altered and the judgment delivered on the 4th day of July 2024 by the Court of Appeal in appeal number CA/PS/198/2024, in which all actions taken by the 3 suspended members, including purported screening and confirmation of commissioner nominees for appointments, caretaker committees, and other approvals, has been declared null and void.
All right. In a very, very interesting response, we had the Victor Okojumbo-led assembly screening nominees for Executive Council of the Rivers State. One of those people is Frank Fubara, who is said to have a relationship with the current governor of the state.
Right, the Honorable Victor Okojumbo, Speaker, River State House of Assembly, Port Harcourt, requests for screening and confirmation of Barrister Emmanuel Frank Fubara as Commissioner nominee. Pursuant to Section 192 of the 1919 confirmation as Commissioner and member of the River State Executive Council.
All right. We also have a Fubara who has called out the police on their inability to get more information on the failed attempt at a bomb detonation in the state. Let's take a listen.
About the bomb explosion in Port Harcourt.
Fubara is involved in anything, there will be arrest, there will be statements, there will be counter this, there will be press conference. But because it is from the other side, but glory to God that they couldn't hide it. I've not been hearing anything. And I'm wondering, after how many weeks now, the Nigerian police is still not able to come out and make it that tried to detonate a dynamite in front of Hotel Presidential. I'm still wondering why it has not happened. But if it's maybe any other thing that has to do with us, they will say, in fact, by now they should have even charged the person for terrorism. But you see, this God that I said that we are serving genuinely, this God that River State has been dedicated to by our predecessors. Because when they make statement, they say River State belongs to Christ, belongs to God. And that is the God that is saving us and lifting us.
All right, so that was Fubara's response in that particular situation. Looking at also in the news, we have Umar Bago, the governor, ordering his security to slap a clergyman. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. But you have to know also that we're live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. You don't want to be missing out on some of these videos that will be playing on our YouTube. Go ahead and join us. We're live on YouTube. Voice of the People Abuja.
za mu nemi malam ɗaya ina kyauta gani da zan mare ka Slap him first. Slap him first. Wait. I said slap him, right? I said slap him, right? Go and arrest him. Go and arrest him. Deal with him well. Deal with him well. What you think of the number
This is outrageous.
Well, this is outrageous and unbecoming of a governor, is what has been said about this particular situation, where the governor of Niger State, Umar Bago, publicly asks security to slap a clergyman in the state, an Islamic cleric in Niger State. Well, it's been on all public spaces a lot of criticisms for the governor in that particular situation. Of course, we're waiting to see what response the state government will produce in response to that particular situation. Also, looking in the news, there was a particular individual who went ahead to protest against hunger in the country. Yesterday, we still had an individual who climbed a mast in response to the situation in the country, giving demands, leaving a suicide note at the foot of the mast. While climbing, he wrote a list of things that he wanted the government to respond to. But also, there's a flag boy, popularly known on social media. He was arrested over protesting against hunger in the country. Let's take a listen.
Hunger day! Hunger day! Hunger day! Hunger day! Hunger day! Hunger day! Hunger no day! Say hunger no day!
I did command like this. I did do my normal protest hungry day. The next thing police don't come, carry me come command. I did command like this. I did command though, in case no see me.
Hunger day! Hunger!
According to the human rights, people have a right to protest peacefully, and states have a duty to respect, facilitate, and protect this right. This means they shouldn't interfere with protests unless there's a legitimate threat to the safety and rights of others. This is what is said. You don't need a permit to march in the streets or on the sidewalks, as long as you do not obstruct car or pedestrian traffic. In terms of that particular situation, security agents also need to know that the law does not require the issuance of a permit before a rally can be organized. And this wasn't even a rally per se. It was a one-man march talking about hunger in the country. Why then was he arrested? He's been released, by the way. We'll watch and see if there's any more follow-up to that particular story. Meanwhile, we have a Bayo Onanuga who's still in the news at the moment. He's yet again deleted his tweet announcing federal government's policies to bring down food prices. He told newsmen that the memo on tariffs on rice, other food items, was still under consideration and was shared in error. The policy was mistakenly circulated, Mr. Onanuga told newsmen by telephone Monday evening, and they're still deliberating internationally, from the Agric Ministry to other agencies, on how best to proceed with the policy. Mr. Onanuga has apologized for the error and said the government was not oblivious to its potential impact on long-suffering Nigerians. Well, social media and tweets are calling him Mr. Tweet and Delete. Mr. Tweet and Delete. I mean, he's been... Some people are also asking questions as regards his competence as a media aide. Well, we'll look at all that in just a moment. We'll be joined by Mr. Rufai Oseni on the news this morning. All right. Good morning, Mr. Rufai.
Morning, Garcia.
All right. You're welcome to the show.
Because
Just want to let you know, listening, that we are live on YouTube, Voice of the People Abuja. We're live on YouTube, Voice of the People Abuja. And also, the number to call to be a part of the conversation this morning is 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618. Good morning, Mr. Rufai. Welcome to the show.
thank you so much, Jess. Thanks for having me.
All right. First of all, let's start with that slap that we had the governor of Niger State asking a security to slap an Islamic cleric. What exactly is your take on this?
Very terrible, very wrong. We have built a society where we torture other people, where we don't respect the rights of others. And that's reflective in that. When a governor says slap somebody, you don't slap anybody. And the governor owes the cleric an apology.
But the security man, Mr. Rufai, the security from the perspective of the security, right? What do you want him to do? What is his response going to be if he has a direct order from...
The security man is not a dog. He has a brain in his head and is not subject to the governor. He's subject to his IGP and rank and file, the head of their head. If he's a policeman, he's subject to the IGP. If he's a military man, he's subject to the chief of staff. He has no rights to take such a nefarious order. So what you are telling me is that if the governor says, okay, shoot somebody, you think that security man will take a gun and shoot the person? What the governor said is wrong is wrong. You can't build a society of madness. That's senselessness.
All right. We'll watch and see if we have the state government issuing a statement
if it doesn't
concerning
issue
that.
an apology, rights groups should help what's it called, to sue
The
the
cleric.
governor. The cleric. They should sue if the governor has immunity, they should sue the security man that was ordered. And they should also sue the attorney general.
Really? Because he will argue that he was given a direct order. He's a security...
They should sue the security man, sue the attorney general. They just sue the lawyers.
Sue everybody.
I'm not a lawyer. The lawyer will know who they can sue. No, I'm not the one to think for them. When they sue, when we have a case in court and bring it to us in media, let's be talking about it. It will shame in the end.
All right. We have the federal government announcing some critical things that they would like to do to ensure that there's a reduction in food prices. We have a 150-day duty-free import window for food commodities.
That's good. That's good. That's about 6 months free import window. If you said that, I think that should push in effect till the harvest of wet season farming coming. But a couple of more things we need to do. We need to see how to fight the middlemen, because you can remove import tariffs, but middlemen can hijack the process too. So see how we can fight the middlemen, see how we can bring more mechanization so we can have all year round farming. And also see how government now needs to invest they can partner with private companies, invest in storage, agricultural silos and things like that. Because most of this government storage is told it out before. If government cannot run the business alone, they should take equity in the business. So they should partner with private companies to set up silos and monitor them effectively. Just like the NNPC partners with private companies to be able to store their something in their facilities like tank farms and things like that. Government should also do that. So that's the way you can run it effectively.
All right.
Also ensure you buffer food production.
Mr. Rufai, I mean, all this is nice and good. It's good that we're seeing the federal government taking some decisive steps in the right direction, especially since we're really, there's been protests here and there. Yesterday, a flag boy was arrested for protesting about hunger. He was screaming hunger, hunger, hunger on the streets, and he was arrested. We also saw a particular individual in Abuja here.
Why was he arrested? He has the right to protest.
Exactly. But he's been released, though, this morning. He's been released.
But we shouldn't be arrested in the first place. He has the right to protest. People are hungry. The other kind of protest I do not like and I totally condemn is the one where somebody climbs and wants to commit suicide. No. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. That's a crime against the state. You shouldn't do that, and that's a crime against humanity.
So whose custody is he supposed to be in, looking at the severity of the situation?
Security of which situation?
So some people are talking. I mean, you just said it's a crime against the state. You listed a couple of issues with this particular move, right? So some people are arguing that he's not supposed to be in the custody of the police.
No, but it's supposed to be in the custody of the police. If you commit a crime against it, attempted suicide is a crime against the state. Attempt to take your own life is a crime. It's a crime against the state. So you be in the custody of the police while investigations will go on.
What about his mental status at that point in time?
That can also be examined. But it's a crime against the state.
All right. We'll watch and see how that particular story develops. But Mr. Rufai, all these measures by the federal government to overcome high food prices, we're looking at 250,000 metric tons of wheat and maize individually. You're looking at engaging relevant stakeholders for a guaranteed minimum price. I mean, some of these are all fine and good, but it seems as though we are refusing to address the elephant in the room, which is security. All these are
and that's the big elephant in the room. So, but the question is, I'm not sure security can be addressed all of a sudden. It was something that happened over a period of time. So I'm not sure it can be addressed all of a sudden. And let's not deceive ourselves. Except we want to deceive ourselves. So these are stopgap measures. But going forward, we also need to play a big role as regards ensuring that the farmers go back to the farm. You see, the questionable thing about Nigeria is that food used to be very cheap in Nigeria. And today is one of the most expensive commodities and items. And that's the sad reality of the state of play in our country. So unless we address those problems, we are not going anywhere.
It's a very, very I don't know if we're supposed to be optimistic, but maybe this duty-free 150-day window of duty-free distance on some of these commodities.
Let me tell you my fears. These are my fears. I pray it works, but I doubt.
Why? Why do you have doubts?
The middlemen.
Okay, so
I think to a large extent, when the food is still imported, the middlemen will work their magic, and they'll still do it in such a way that the pricing is not cut down. That's what I still think will happen. But I pray the government prove me wrong by now overseeing it, building capacity to oversee that we cut off the role of the middlemen, and that's why I also gave other ideas, like having our own silos, like having our own agricultural methods to be able to improve productivity, fighting insecurity and all of that. But my fear will be the middleman.
There's a measure here by the federal government talking about a guaranteed minimum price, right? Isn't that supposed to help, put a cap?
It's not going to work.
Why do you say so?
Guaranteed minimum price is sort of like a price control mechanism. It's not going to work. Trust me. Stakeholders will tell you market forces will take over. And that's what will take over in the end. Why food is cheap is because you have a lot of production. And you have a lot of production and a good transportation network in the system. Except government effectively monitors it, middlemen will take it over. Guaranteed minimum price, you can't do that for food.
Okay.
You can't do that for food because, let me tell you, let's see. There are people that control the food ecosystem in this country. There are people that can automatically create scarcity of food. The ascendancy of most of the cereal and rice crops and things like that comes from the north. There are people that control those ecosystems. There's a very big granary market in Kano. Are you going to go tell every grain merchant, in one of the biggest grain markets in Africa, to fix maximum available prices? So there are ecosystems here and there. And the food market is an open market. It is a full-on production that reduces the price because you have a better competition. And I'll give you an instance. You can see what happened recently when the manipulation of the middlemen came strong as regards tomato. Have you ever wondered how come tomato price fell by basket price? So those are the ecosystems we need to look at. It's not just as simple as that. And my fear is the middleman. You can remove tariff, food coming, importers imports. You forget that those that will be also part of the importation value chain will be the middlemen. They will import this tariff-free food. But when they push into the markets, they can marginally bump it up. Or they can marginally save all the food they imported to a time where that period will expire, create artificial scarcity. So there's also an understanding of the food ecosystem. Another idea the government should be able to do, to be able to cut the chain of all this ascendancy on food, is the use of rail to bring food across the country. If that can marginally reduce the pricing, because that will also marginally take care of the logistic costs. There's a deeper food ecosystem. Those things are not as easy as they say. And that's why I say it's a good measure. Don't get me wrong. I have advocated for this in the past. All right? But the middlemen that are very powerful, the same middlemen that give politicians money when they are running for elections, they are also very powerful. So another thing the government must be able to do is be able to cut the ascendancy of this middleman in all of this for us to get a legal. But it's a good measure because I advocated for this. And this is not the first time we did it during Yaradua. But how can we also tackle the case of the middleman?
All right. We'll watch and see how the federal government executes this because, I mean, it is said that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So let's see how it is executed because, I mean, we've seen a lot of loopholes there when we see the federal government execute different things. Moving on to another story here, Mr. Rufai. We have Yahaya Bello losing his bid to have his fraud case being heard
I
in
think
Kogi
Yahaya
State.
Bello should go and face his case anywhere the government says he should face his case. He should be able to believe in the Nigerian judicial system. So it's both a court everywhere. So he should go and face his case anywhere. Most importantly, the case must be looked at and justice must be done.
All right. We'll watch and see how that plays out. Meanwhile, we have the group CEO of Ethiopian Airlines, Mesfin Tasew, claiming that the Ministry of Aviation owes them about $211,000. This is still according to the EFCC and the case of the Nigerian Air and all of that. $211,000. I mean, this is a claim by the CEO of Ethiopian Airlines, but I don't know how that particular project was executed and how we have come to owe 211,000 USD.
We need to be able to ask questions because even all of that Ethiopian airline thing was initially shrouded in a lot of back and forth. So we need to be able to ask what truly happened. In a bit to be able to get to the end of all of that matter.
All right.
Thank you, Cassie.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right. You can call me up 0808 312 8618 0808 312 8618 is the number to call to be a part of this conversation this morning. Go ahead and let me know what you think about any of our headlines so far. It's really interesting, this issue of Ethiopian Airlines. There's an ongoing probe of 2.6 billion naira allegedly spent on Nigerian Air. This is so far, as in the EFCC has debriefed top officials of Ethiopian Airlines on some of its findings on the botched project. And during that interface, the team led by the group CEO of Ethiopian Airlines has now announced that the Ministry of Aviation owes them 211,000 USD. It's really, really interesting to watch how this particular drama unfolds. Meanwhile, we have the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, on Monday saying that the recent bombings in Goza Polka towns of Goza local government area of Borno State were meant to embarrass the government when he paid a courtesy visit on Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State on Monday. The defense chief assured Nigerians that the perpetrators of such evil acts would not succeed. How exactly is this a bid to embarrass the government? Looking at security, Mr. Rufai says this is something that we cannot fix, immediately. It's not something that you start seeing. This particular statement that security is not a problem that we can fix right about now is something we've heard over and over and over. This is years in, and we are still saying security is something that we cannot fix, within a twinkle of an eye. Nobody is asking for it to be fixed within a twinkle of an eye. How about decisive steps? Let's see them. Why are we not seeing a way forward for security? But then again, looking at other stories, we're still having the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amewele, issuing a 7-day ultimatum to Governor Siminalayi Fubara to represent the 2024 budget. The order was given at the first sitting of the Pro-Wike Assembly after the appeal court ruled in their favor. We're still watching to see, because the Okojombo-led House of Assembly, they're also still making moves on their own end. So if Fubara is not taking this line low, let's watch and see how that plays out in Rivers State. Go ahead and call us up 0808 312 8618 0808 312 8618 is the number to call to be a part of the show as well. You can send a WhatsApp message 0700 010 961 961, or leave a YouTube comment on our YouTube page. That is Voice of the People Abuja. All right, we have a call here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, all right, we lost that. But do well to call back 0808 312 8618 0808 312 8618. All right, we're moving on to another headline here. The Nigeria Labour Congress on Monday in Abuja asked the National Assembly to work with the Tripartite Committee on the new minimum wage to establish mechanisms for regular and systematic review of wage levels to ensure they keep pace with inflation and cost of living. We're still seeing the NLC still talking about minimum wage and the Tripartite Committee and all of that. There's still a lot of drama going on there, but we'll watch and see how that plays out. Meanwhile, approximately 684 million. Okay, let's take this call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ada Usman.
Ada, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from, by the way? Sorry.
I'm calling from Abuja here.
Where in Abuja?
Apo.
Apo. All right. So we want to know if you can read us loud and clear from wherever you're calling from.
Yes. Very loud and clear. I want to commend you. This is my first time of listening to this program.
Thank you so much.
Your presentation has been very good.
Thank you very much.
All right. Keep it up. Thank you.
Okay, so you don't even want to let us know what you think about the headlines. Thank you.
On the food inflation, I want to commend the government for the step taken so far. And there's one of the comments that talked about middlemen hijack government efforts. So we want to urge the government to look into the activities of all those unscrupulous businessmen, middlemen, like the previous caller said. He called them middlemen. Because no matter what is brought to the country now, the food that is imported, they can see halt the food and do whatever they like with the price.
All right. Thank you so much, Ada, for your call
Thank
this morning. Have yourself a wonderful
All
day.
right, thank you very much. You too, thank you.
All right, to also call us 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618 is the number to call. Our WhatsApp line is 0700 0700